Hello, friends. It gives me immense pleasure to have reached this last lecture on C Sharp. Having gone through so many aspects of C Sharp together, I'm pretty sure you have come a long way with respect to your coding with native language. And I would be really glad to hear from you any feedbacks for improvements. Um, Today's session is going to be on threading, another very important concept of C Sharp. While I mentioned that this is the last session on C Sharp, I also would like to mention that this is not all of it. I'll be very frank about it. There are hundreds of thousands of libraries inside C Sharp, .NET framework. It may not be practical or relevant taking you through all of them. It's going to be months and probably a year or more to complete courses that way. The idea with this course was to get you into to have a firm footing with C Sharp as a language, and get you prepared to take it forward from there, where you on your own would be able to research and learn uh, to work on things on classes and from available resources in the .NET framework based on the requirements of your project. And there are more advanced concepts which we learn about when we talk about MVC. When you join, hopefully you are going to subscribe for a very interesting course on MVC, which I'm going to come up with next. So that is where we learn even more. We'll continue to learn about more of the library items, and it's a never-ending story, I tell you. But you should be glad to hear from me that if you are watching this video of mine, and if you have watched this video after having watched all the previous videos and practiced, I'm pretty sure that you are ready for .NET. And I wish you best, and I look forward to hear from you as well. So let us, without much ado, join me. Let us just jump in and start learning about threading. All right. So what is threading? The definition of a thread is given here. It's quite a beautiful definition here. A thread is an independent execution path able to run simultaneously with other threads. So what that means is, if you look at processes that are running within a system, Windows processes, for example, if you go to the task manager, you'll find that there are multiple processes. You can go through them. They're all running simultaneously. And you can also see the amount of memory space used by them dynamically keep changing, right? Based on which application is running and consuming more resources. So that is an example of multi-threading or multiple processes running simultaneously. So something similar in your application too is possible. We are talking about a single application generally having a single thread, unless you create multiple threads to run simultaneously. So for example, I would say, let's say we have an application which is running within an office. Sharp at 9 a.m. It's set to run a particular process where all the attendance for the previous day, after all the corrections from the managers, get input into the database and gets logged. And let's say it's a huge organization, and this particular method takes a long time to complete the process. Let's say 5 minutes or say 10 minutes. So these 5-10 minutes, this particular process should not lock everything up. If at the same time some employee wants to log in and let's say process his leave application that is coming up to the manager, he should be able to do that. So there is this process initiated by this user, an application of a leave happening, while in the background there is another process of capturing all the attendance of the previous day into the database happening simultaneously. So these are different processes running simultaneously in your application. You can achieve that by using different ways, one of which is threading. You can also have asynchronous calls and such stuff, which is more relevant, we'll see when we look at web application and those kind of things. So for now, let us try and understand what is threading. All right, I can create a thread, but before I create a thread, let me create a couple of methods which are going to do certain activities. So let's say public void. All right, I have this method, even numbers. All right, what this method does is it's going to print out the even numbers from 0 to 100. So for int I starting with 0, I less than or equal to 100, and I plus plus. So what is it I want to do? I'm going to print console dot write line I. So it's going to print out all the even numbers up to 100. Now I have another method here, like void odd numbers. I'll keep it a shorter thread here. Okay. So for I equals 0, not 0, sorry, it's having the odd numbers. So starting with 1, I less than say 20, and I increments by 1 plus equals 2. Right, I made a mistake at the top here. It's supposed to be I plus equals 2, not I plus plus. It's going to be a simple increment. So I needed to increment by 2. I'm going numbers called, then odd numbers are also called. These two methods are running, and let us see what happens. All right, if you see here, the even numbers got printed up to 100, and then the odd numbers up to 19 got printed. And then of course this, please press enter to quit. If you look at the sequence of events, even numbers, odd numbers, followed by please press enter to quit. So these are running in a sequential fashion in this case. So for the method odd numbers to start functioning, it has to first finish even numbers. So it's going in a sequential manner. I don't want that. I want it to complete the odd numbers even before even numbers completes, because this even number is going till 100. It's going to take a longer time. Why should this one wait, or why should this one wait? So for that, I'm going to use threading. So I'm going to create an instance of thread class. So I need to have a system.threading namespace added as a using statement. So I'm going to call it as th1 equals new thread, which is going to have even numbers as a method added to it. So I can add the method name like this into the thread parameter. And I have another one thread th2 equals new thread and odd numbers, all right, as a parameter. So we have these two threads. Now I'm going to call th1, and then th1 dot start. I'm going to start the thread, execution of thread, and then I'm going to put th2 dot start. So this is also starting. So it's not going to wait for th1 to complete before the th2 thread starts. I'm running these again so it can confuse us. I don't want to run these two again. There will be duplication. All right, now let us run it and see what happens. Single time executions by way of threads. All right, so if you see, the even numbers got printed, completed at the end, but what is the one which is called first? Even numbers. So somewhere in between odd numbers would have printed as well, right? So let us go and check where that is. All right, here we are. See, here it is. Interestingly, the very last one, the console dot write line got printed first, last method call, and then came the even numbers, which got printed up to 11, didn't completely print, and then the the odd numbers, and then the even numbers started printing, and somewhere in between the remaining odd also would have got printed. Somewhere in between, you need to check for that. All right, until 11, and let's go slowly down. Here it is. After 52, there is 13, 15, 17, and 19. Those four remaining ones got printed, and then 54, 56 goes on like that. So it's got jumbled up. It is just not, one method is not waiting for the other. As and when they are able to execute, they're just executing the thread and finishing it off. So this is beautiful, isn't it? So there is simultaneous implementation that is happening, multiple processes running simultaneously, and this is precisely what threading is all about. All right. Okay, I hope you found it interesting. Friends, this is the last session of C# fundamentals. The next lecture series is going to be on either MVC or web forms. So please do subscribe when that starts. It's going to, I promise you, it's going to be pretty exciting. You're going to build a complete web application, publish it. The complete SDLC you're going to learn and build your own applications and publish it. All right, so until then, stay safe, stay away from Corona, and do keep practicing and get better and better at this. All the best, guys. Bye bye.